film won the prize for Best Documentary at the Berlin Film Festival, the Berlinale in Germany. This is a part of Yuval's acceptance speech.
In 2 days, we will go back to a land where we are not equal. I'm living under a civilian law, and Basel is under military law. We live 30 minutes from one another, but I have voting rights, and Basel is not having voting rights. I'm free to move where I want in this land. Basel is, like millions of Palestinians, locked in the occupied West Bank. This situation of apartheid between us, this inequality, it has to end.
Yuval Abraham received death threats for those comments. I asked him about the film winning the top prize at the Berlinale and what happened afterwards.
So, we got this award for the film, and we were very, very happy, me and Basel, after we've been filming, me and Basel and Rachel and Hamdan, they're also co-directors, and, for many years. And it was like a moment of recognition, and we felt that we got the audience award, and the audiences were very moved by it. And the next day, I wanted to fly back home, and I took a connection flight in Greece, and then I opened my phone in Greece, and I see that I'm receiving like dozens of death threats for the speech. And I saw that German politicians, including the mayor of Berlin, were dubbing it as like anti-Semitism and generally the speeches. And this, I decided to stay in Athens because I was hesitant to go back. And the next day, like a group of people came to my parents' house and threatened them. My mother was really scared from it, and she had to leave. She went to sleep with my sister in Jerusalem, and it was very, very scary. And I felt many things, but like one of the things that I felt outraged by was that you have, German politicians who are not Jewish who, label me as an anti-Semite for what? For calling for a ceasefire, for calling for equality between Israelis and Palestinians, for using the word apartheid, which should be common sense to describe these, parallel systems of inequality. And I was thinking of my grandparents. My grandmother, she was born in a concentration camp in Libya called Jado. Her father was murdered by Italy, who were working in fascist Italy, were working with the Nazis. Most of my grandfather's family in Romania were murdered by Germans. And like, what are you to label me as an anti-Semite? And I feel that, this term is very dangerous because, on the one hand, it's very, very clearly being weaponized to silence legitimate criticism of the state of Israel, of Israel's policies, and that's a big danger. On the other hand, for me as Israeli, as a Jewish person, if you are labeling everything as anti-Semitism, you're emptying it out of meaning. And I think especially now when there is a rise in anti-Semitism, and we are seeing more and more cases of anti-Semitism, happening everywhere, on the extreme right, on the left, like we're seeing it, for me, is even worse that Germany is emptying that term out of meaning like that. And I think that people, it's completely legitimate to label Israel as apartheid. It's completely legitimate to call for a ceasefire. And it was absurd. And I hope things have changed since. I don't think they have, but,
Your co-director, Palestinian Basel Adra, called for the stopping of arming of Israel.
Good evening, everybody. We're glad to be here and grateful. It's our first movie since many years. My community, my family has been filming our community being erased by this brutal occupation. I'm here celebrating the award, but also very hard for me to celebrate when there are tens of thousands of my people being slaughtered and massacred by Israel in Gaza. Masafir Yatta, my community, is being also erased by Israeli bulldozers. I ask one thing for Germany, as I am in Berlin here, to respect the UN calls and stop sending weapons to Israel.